Hi everyone, thanks for joining me for today's Sip and Stretch Level 2. So if you haven't checked out the first video, I definitely recommend starting out with that one. It's just some really nice, gentle, easy stretches to get going. That one's about half an hour. This one's gonna be a little bit shorter, but we're gonna go more in depth. So this is gonna be a little bit more intense stretching. We're gonna be holding the poses a little bit longer. So for those of you who are athletes and have been really active and just need a really solid stretch post-workout, this is where we're gonna go ahead and get started. So because it's Sip and Stretch, you can have a beverage of choice beside you. And we're not actually gonna start in our standard Shavasana today. We're actually going to be starting in a child's pose. For today's class, make sure you grab your mat, optional blocks, but I do love to have them. And as you come into your child's pose, you have the option of bringing your hands like this over your head in prayer. So I like to take a nice wide leg child's pose, so bringing my big toes to touch. So sinking down, and then from here, I'm gonna bring my hands into prayer over my head. So this is where I'd like you to start to focus on your breath. So starting to take those really nice, long, deep inhales and exhales through your nose. Now, if this is too much for you, you can switch to a puppy pose. So tabletop, arms come out, chest sinks down to your mat. So this might take a little bit of pressure off your knees. So you decide, get into that posture right now, whatever you're choosing, and you're just gonna hold here. Feeling that belly rise as it fills up with air. Drawing your belly button in towards your spine every time you exhale. Beautiful. Holding for a couple more breaths here. And then you're going to go ahead and sweep your left arm under your right, coming into a gentle thread the needle pose. Your left temple can rest on your mat. Just hold here. So still reaching out with those right fingertips, reaching away from you so we're still active in our arms. Beautiful. On your next breath, coming back to center, this time sweeping your right under your left. Two more nice big full breaths on this side. And then slowly starting to come up, walking those fingertips back and rolling up one vertebrae at a time. Your head's gonna come up last. We're gonna go ahead and go through some cat-cows here. So gently coming out onto all fours. Inhale, tilting that pelvis up and back. Gaze comes up, really squeezing those shoulder blades together. Exhale, rounding your upper back. That was a terrible idea. That's gonna come off. Make sure you're really breathing here. So sometimes I really like to exaggerate my breaths. Remembering the positioning of your hands and feet doesn't change. Just go ahead and keep going with your own breath here. And then feel free to add any other movements that feel good. whether it's a gentle rocking from side to side, maybe it's some really nice gentle hip circles here. You're gonna decide what feels good. So take the next few breaths and you're gonna go ahead and go through that. Just keeping in mind your body, your rules, your workout, your stretch. So if something's not quite feeling right, ease up a little bit. Maybe for today, you just kind of want to do a little more sipping, less stretching. That's cool too. So whatever your body needs. Sometimes I like to sink back into a child's pose and then come forward into that tabletop. So try a few things out, see what feels good. Nice job. When you're ready, you're just gonna come and meet me in a seated position. So we're gonna sit cross-legged. You're gonna place your left foot in front of your right. Nice gentle hip stretch here. So with your left in front of your right, you're slowly just gonna start to walk your fingertips up and then release your chin down towards your chest. It doesn't look like much, but this is a really nice, simple hip stretch. And you're gonna notice how this changes from this side to the other side. So just focus on that breath here. We're going to be holding here for a little bit. And again, if you do have a block and it's more comfortable for you to rest your head on your block, you're absolutely more than welcome to do that. A nice big fat book works well too. Cards Against Humanity is about the right size, whatever you have available. So really trying to sink into that left hip here. That's where you should be feeling it. We're gonna hold this just for 2 more breaths. And then slowly start to walk those fingertips back, stacking your spine, rolling up 1 vertebrae at a time. Go ahead and switch sides. So that right foot's gonna be in front of your left. If this is your tighter hip, like it is for me, you're gonna start to feel it right away. So even before you start to hinge, maybe your hinge is just here today, that's totally okay. You're only gonna go as far as your body allows you to go. So for me, my block height's actually gonna change on this side because I'm less flexible on this side. Really sinking down into that right hip as we hold here for a few more breaths. Beautiful. Slowly, once again, walking those fingertips back first, starting to roll up 1 vertebrae at a time, gently placing that block off to the side if you're using one. We're gonna just come into a really gentle neck stretch, so you can just find that more comfortable, easy pose, that cross-legged pose. You're gonna go ahead and take your left arm, place it behind your back. You're gonna grab onto whatever part of that right arm you can reach. So I personally like to try to grab onto my bicep. Right hand can stay here, and if you've seen some of my other videos, you may have seen this one before. So this is just a really nice gentle neck stretch. So our left arm is behind our back. You're gonna bring your right ear towards your right shoulder. Because the idea is we wanna be feeling the stretch along the left side of our neck here. So don't push this too hard. If you're feeling a little bit of strain, that's okay, the pain is not. And then you can start to play around with it. So looking down towards your fingers. You can also start to look up towards the sky, but remember, right ear is gonna stay as close to that right shoulder as possible. This is especially a great stretch for those of us working from home. If you've been sitting at a computer for a while, this is a great one just to help our neck out a little bit. And that's where we carry a lot of our stress. So anything that you can do to release that is fantastic. On your next breath, you're slowly just gonna come back to center. Maybe a nice gentle side to side. Maybe you get a nice gentle crack like I just did. This time you're gonna place your right arm behind your back, grabbing onto your left bicep, whatever part of that arm you can reach. And we're gonna switch to the other side. So left ear towards your left shoulder. Feeling a nice stretch in the right side of your neck. So once again, you start at center, and you can play around with it, looking towards those left fingertips, noticing how the stretch changes. Perhaps looking up. Holding here just for another breath or two. And then slowly coming back to center. Maybe once again, just a nice gentle from side to side. We are going to be coming into our frog pose. Now for a lot of us, it's not a fun pose, but you know what? It's great for your groin, it's great for your hips, but we just have to be safe and mindful in how we do it. So making sure just in case you have a blanket close by. To get into a frog pose, you start by coming up onto all fours, and then you're going to start to walk your knees out. You're going to place the sides of your feet down on your mat, and you're slowly going to sink down. This is where a block can come in handy. You can place your forehead on your block. You can sink back and come forward if that's what feels good for you. If you're hypermobile, you'll actually be able to rest your entire chest and this entire part of your inner thigh on your mat. But if you're not, then you're just gonna stay here with me. So whatever version of frog you're comfortable with, and if your knees are not feeling great, blanket underneath each knee works great here. So here's the hard part, holding this position. So finding that part where you can just hold without fidgeting. And just really trying to sink into your hips here. So we're going to go ahead, hold here for 6 nice big full breaths. See if you can find stillness for all 6. After that 6th breath, if your head is on a block, you can just gently move it out of the way. So your hands are going to come in first. I like to straighten my arms first of all. And then you're slowly going to bring one knee in, then the other, and just sink back for a moment. It does take a lot out of you to hold that pose for a while, so when you come out of it, we just need to make sure that we're being safe. So now what I always recommend after you hold a posture that involves your hips for a while, is to come into that nice gentle windshield wiper. So go ahead and do a few rotations of this, perhaps pausing on one side. Great job. So from here, we're going to come back into that tabletop. You're going to go ahead, send those knees back a few inches, tuck your toes, lift up your hips, come into that downward facing dog. So from here,
I want you to start to pedal out your heels. So that means gently bending one knee, then the other. You're gonna get a really lovely stretch in your calves when you do so. So really exaggerating here. And then from here, we're gonna be coming into our dragon lunge. So I like to do this by lifting one heel up high to the sky. On your next breath, you're gonna exhale, and you're gonna bring that foot, so I'm starting with my right, on the outside of my right hand. I'm gonna go ahead and drop my left knee down. So my foot is wide here. You can grab your block, because from here, you're either gonna stay up nice and tall, or you're gonna start to lower down onto that block or onto your forearms. Now, your other option, if you wanna do a winged dragon, which I really like, is you're gonna open up that front foot like a book, so you're on the side of that foot. For me, it creates a little bit more space, so I can lower down even more. So you're gonna decide what works best for you. It's a really intense hip stretch. So once again, it's hard not to fidget. Your goal is to find that place. And I mean, if you do need to get up, grab a sip of your drink, you are more than welcome to do that. But make sure that only takes a couple of seconds so that you can come right back into that pose. So keep breathing here, nice long inhales and exhales. We're gonna hold here just for 4 breaths. All right. Slowly coming up onto the palms of your hands. If that front foot is open, you can go ahead and close it. You're gonna shimmy that foot towards the center of your mat, and you're slowly gonna walk your fingertips back as you try to straighten that front knee as much as you can. If you want, you can add some movement here. So bend and then straighten. If you want to work on a little bit of mobility, otherwise, if you just want the stretch, you're gonna pause here. You can also shimmy that back knee back a little bit further if you're gonna be working towards a half split. So bringing your chin in towards your chest, regardless of what version you've chosen. Holding here just for 2 breaths. Maybe challenging yourself to walk your fingertips back further. And then slowly bringing a bend back into that knee. You're gonna plant your hands on either side of that foot and gently come back, downward facing dog. Once again, pedaling out those heels. So when you start to pedal out your heels, you're gonna notice your back is rounding. That's perfectly okay. Awesome, we're gonna move to the other side. So for me, it's my left. So I'm gonna inhale that left heel up to the sky. Exhale, bend that left knee. Bring it on the outside of my left foot. Drop my right knee down. From here, you're gonna decide if you want a block or 2. What I did on one side, I'm gonna do on the other. So I'm gonna open up that foot, and I'm gonna slowly lower down onto my block. You also have the option of lowering down onto your forearms. Once again, only going as far as your body allows you to go. So this side is feeling a little stiff today, so I'm gonna come down onto my block. So finding that stillness, finding that breath, noticing how one side feels compared to the other. As we go ahead and hold here for 4 breaths. bringing that chin in towards your chest. After that fourth breath, slowly starting to come up onto the palms of your hands, closing that foot if it was open, and then shimmying that foot towards the center of your mat so your hands are on either side of it. Slowly starting to walk those fingertips back. Oh, as you straighten that knee, you get a really nice hamstring stretch here. If you want to work on mobility, you bring a bend back to that front knee, and then slowly sink back. So you're either doing this, or you're pausing with me with that nice straight leg. Remembering you can shimmy that back knee back a little bit more if that's what your body needs. And once again, chin to chest. So that way you're not holding your neck up. The idea with that is we're releasing any strain or any tension we carry around in our necks. Once again, that's the stress zone, so anytime you can just drop your chin in towards your chest, I definitely recommend that you do that. Holding here just for a couple more breaths. Maybe seeing if you can straighten that front knee a little bit more. And on your next breath, slowly starting to bring that bend back. I'm going to shimmy my back knee forward a little bit, placing your hands on either side of that foot, downward facing dog. You can either pedal out your heels here or just find stillness in your down dog as we hold here for 3 nice big breaths. From your downward facing dog, we're gonna do something a little bit different. I'm gonna get you to hop to the top of your mat, but we're gonna hop nice and wide, so that way you're gonna land on either side of those front feet. So you're actually gonna be landing in your Malasana squat. So you can go ahead and do that now. You'll notice that in my squat, I'm gonna be pushing my knees out with my elbows. This is a really awesome hip stretch. And for many of us, it's pretty comfortable just to hold here, especially if you've been practicing. But if not, if you've had maybe some big workouts today, hips are extra tight, guess what? That block fits there perfectly. And the nice thing is you're still getting the benefit of the stretch. So you're gonna decide what your body needs. We're gonna be holding here for 5 nice big breaths. So trying to pull those shoulders back and down. So our chest is still proud, we're not hunched over. Two more big breaths here. And on that final breath, you're gently just gonna sink back down, connecting those sit bones with the earth, placing your feet right in front of you, knees bent. We're gonna do a couple more windshield wipers, noticing how that's loosening up your hips. Windshield wipers are a great thing to do first thing in the morning when you're getting out of bed. I like to do my windshield wipers. I like to come into a happy baby. Considering that for many of us, we're sleeping 6, 7, 8, 9 hours a night. So that's the amount of time that your body is remaining still in one position. So it's really great to do those gentle movements first thing in the morning, maybe even in your bed. All right, from here, just joining me in a gentle seated position. We're gonna go ahead and inhale, sweeping those hands all the way up to the sky. And then exhale, left hand, right knee, your right arm behind your back, just coming into that nice gentle twist. Inhale, sweeping your hands all the way up. And then exhale, switching sides. We're gonna do that a few more times.
So inhale, sweeping your hands all the way up. Exhale, left hand, right knee, looking over that right shoulder. And then inhale, sweeping those hands back up. Exhale, right hand, left knee, left shoulder. Beautiful. Inhale, sweep your hands all the way up to the sky. And exhale, drawing your hands to heart center. Thank you so much for joining me for today's level 2 sip and stretch. As always, it's an honor and my pleasure to get to share my yoga practice from home with all of you. From the bottom of my heart and from my energy to yours, namaste.